How are we doing, guys? No, I've no idea how well that did or didn't work. I did just try and play the Leeds United intro for Mr. Brendan Aronson. This is a bit of an impromptu video. Apologies, guys. This is a bit of an impromptu video. Make sure you smash that like button and hit the subscribe if you are new to the channel, because I believe we might have a lot of American supporters jumping on this, because one of the stars of the US men's national team, the rebirth of the US men's national team, has joined Leeds United today. Not totally unexpected, but the timing was a bit unexpected. I didn't think we'd make a signing before the end of May, but here we go. Leeds United have confirmed the signing of Brendan Aronson. And I'm buzzing, guys. I'm buzzing. This has been one that I've been waiting for pretty much since January, but absolutely buzzing to get this one over the line. So let's just read the Leeds United club statement first of all. Leeds United are delighted to announce an agreement with Red Bull Salzburg for the transfer of Brendan Aronson, which will be completed on July the 1st, 2022. The 21-year-old will join for an undisclosed fee on a five-year contract running until the summer of 2027. Aronson made 41 appearances in all competitions for Salzburg last season, providing 10 assists and scoring 6 goals, helping the club win the Austrian Bundesliga and the Austrian Cup for the second season in succession. And I will just also add to that, which wasn't mentioned in the Leeds United announcement, he did help Salzburg into the Champions League knockout rounds as well, which is something I don't think Salzburg have achieved before. Of course, he's someone that's worked with Jesse Marsch as well, so I'm looking at all the positives on this one. I think there's plenty of positives on this. Yeah, get your comments in, guys. Get your comments in. Your thoughts on this signing. Let's have a look here. Let's have a look. D. Turby, what are his qualities? Concerned that he'll be a cross between Helder Costa and Dan James. Probably good marketing move, though. Well, he's a totally kind of different kind of player to Costa and Dan James. Dan James, obviously, winger, as is Helder Costa. Brendan Aronson tends to occupy as more of a 10, in all honesty. Or from time to time, he can play off the right as well, but more of a number 10, in behind the striker or the two strikers, depending on what Jesse Marsch's system will be next season. He can play a little bit deeper as well, you know, a bit more of a number 8 kind of role as well. But he's a difficult player to kind of quantify in terms of what his style is, because he's quite a rare kind of profile. He's a hard-working number 10. It's probably the best description. But that's not to say he's just someone who's solid and just gives you a 7 out of 10 every game. He can unlock defences. Top-quality assist in the Champions League knockout rounds against Bayern Munich is something that sticks straight into my mind as well. Also, top-quality assist. And he's got a lot of quality to his game. Yeah, he's quite a difficult player to quantify. He's probably kind of as tenacious as a Conor Gallagher. Also got brilliant hair like Conor Gallagher too. And yeah, exactly this from John H. He's an elite presser of the ball. So I'd probably describe him as Conor Gallagher off the ball, but a little bit more craft on it kind of thing. There's a lot of potential to him. There's a lot in his game to work on, but 6 goals, 10 assists. Yes, people will say it's just the Austrian Bundesliga, etc., etc. But he's a youngster. He's a young player. He's going to develop. He's already making impressions for the national team. He's helped them to qualification for the World Cup. I think he's a really, really tidy player, this Brendan Aronson. He's a nice little balancing act for the rest of the front four in a sense. Because you look at Rafinha, you look at Jack Harrison, Dan James, Patrick Bamford, Joffrey Gelhardt, all very, very kind of direct players, especially, you know, James, Harrison, Rafinha, and Gelhardt, really. I know Bamford maybe a little bit to a lesser extent, but yeah, he's kind of a different player to them in terms of he'll take the ball to feet, he'll take touches of the ball, you know, a lot more touches of the ball. He'll allow the whole team to get up the pitch. He'll slow the game down to an extent. He's a bit more of a playmaker in that kind of sense. I think the other players, very direct. Brendan Aronson, he'll take a lot of touches, a bit like a Pablo, a Saiz, that type of player that we've not really had this season, or didn't really have last season either, who can take the game by the scruff of the neck and slow it down from time to time if needed, and thread passes into your Rafinhas, into Jack Harrisons, and take a bit of the creative burden off those players. I really like this kind of like balance to the team in that kind of sense. I think Rodrigo, we tried to get that from Rodrigo in the 10 role. I don't think he looks as natural at it as what a Brendan Aronson does. He likes to have touches of the ball. He wants the ball all the time, Brendan Aronson. He demands the ball off his midfields. I think he's got a great character about him as well. This is very true off our man Mike as well. It was against Bayern in the first leg. He didn't look out of place and looked pretty on the eye. Yeah, I don't know if that's just style or what he looks like physically. Whatever way it is, yes, I can agree with both of those things. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if anyone's watched Peralta. He definitely looks like Peralta off American comedy series. He definitely looks like Peralta with different hair. There's absolutely no doubt about that. So yeah, a couple of lookalikes coming in early doors here. Going by his YouTube highlights, says Napa, this is always dangerous to do, by the way. He looks like a baller. He has speed, strength, great pass, and can shoot. And my word, he can shoot, by the way. Got a great long shot on him. And that's something I think maybe we've lacked a little bit this season, especially. So yeah, he had something different to the team. I think at times, under Jesse Marsch, under Marcelo Bielsa, we've seen in the last sort of year or so, attacks break down in that final third quite a lot, without a Saiz or Pablo to knit it all together. Because when you've got Rafinha, Harrison, James playing very direct, with the head down, trying to get to that byline as quickly as possible or make a decision as quickly as possible and can only really play at a really fast pace, you need a Brendan Aronson just to knit it all together in a sense. And I think he's a really, really good player in that kind of sense to do that for us. The fact he's worked under Marsch before, the fact he is versatile, it all sells itself to me as a really, really good signing. So yeah, let's get some more thoughts on Brendan Aronson in general. And this is something I definitely agree with from Brett. Great to see us getting signings in early and not leaving everything to the last minute. I think that's particularly key this season under Marsch. This is Marsch's first pre-season. He said relentlessly last couple of weeks in his press conferences he needs not so much time to work with the players, but he wants a pre-season, to get his whole ideas across so we can play exactly in Jesse Marsch's image. Because I personally think the last 12 games or so haven't really been what a Jesse Marsch team is. In parts, it has been. I think with the way we press is very much what you'd expect from a Jesse Marsch team, but the way we kind of attack without the kind of natural number 10s that we haven't had in those first sort of 12 games, I think you're going to see a lot more what a Jesse Marsch team is about. That's going to be able to sustain pressure, hold the ball in the final third, and release the dangerous players. And that's what Brendan Aronson is key to. I think this is a key early signing for us to do. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Again, I say Pablo type of player very loosely in terms of a comment here off I've just missed that comment, off John H. I don't think Aronson is a Pablo type player. I still think we need another progressive midfielder to partner Phillips. I definitely agree with that. What I would say is Jesse Marsch doesn't play with like a midfield, just one in midfield and two in front. He plays with two in midfield and kind of like the rest of the front four to an extent. Sorry, man. I think my Wi-Fi just went then. But anyway, Aronson won't play deeper for me. Aronson will play as a number 10. So we definitely do need someone alongside Phillips or alongside Forshaw in that midfield to progress the ball up the pitch. So yeah, I mean, he's not really Pablo, because Pablo is a very unique kind of player. But in terms of what he can give us, it's similar to what we've kind of been missing about Pablo. Somebody who can get his foot on the ball, take the ball deep, receive the ball on the halfway line, and kind of show for the ball really, really deep. I think Rafinha, Harrison, James all stay very high up the pitch. You just need that connection point. That connection point for me, that is potentially and hopefully going to be Brendan Aronson. Let's have a look. So, a comment from Lee Waters, long-term fan of the channel. Great to see you, Lee. Another American through the door who will fall in love with this great club. I am liking the new era so far. Definitely. And this is just what we needed, isn't it? We've just kept ourselves in the league against all odds, and now we've made a really, really good signing straight away. Who's going to instantly come into the first team for me and improve the first team. So great bit of business to get done. Chris Wood says, I wonder if that is the actual Chris Wood. It probably isn't, but anyway, great name, mate. Great name. Could be a great sign in this one. Desperately needed to strengthen the midfield. I definitely agree with that. Obviously, we've not made a midfield signing for a long, long time in terms of a senior midfield signing. Yes, Brendan Aronson's a bit more of a number 10 rather than like a deep lying playmaker, but still it's something to add to the midfield. And I think we will make a couple of more midfield signings as well. Obviously, Tyler Adams has been mentioned in the last couple of days. Very much feels like the profile of kind of player we're going to go for. Yeah, this is very true off D. Marsch has been pragmatic in the last few games, bringing back width. Do you think we'll play narrower next year now? He's getting his own players, definitely, because I think he's kind of saw from the start that we were kind of playing very narrow. Rafinha was very narrow. Harrison was very narrow. And as I said, that isn't necessarily what a Jesse Marsch team is totally about. Now, that's not to say we're just going to be a team with no width. I think the width has to come from the fullbacks in the Jesse Marsch system. It's not to say he's totally against wingers. There's absolutely no question he's against wingers. I think he would definitely try and get the best out of Harrison and Rafinha next season. There's no question about that. But I think he does like a number 10. He loves number 10 as Jesse Marsch. He's developed a lot of number 10s in his time. Aronson's one, Szoboszlai as well, who actually followed him to Leipzig too. Minamino and Wepu now plays for Brighton. He likes a number 10 as well as central creator. So it's a very interesting one in that kind of sense. Let's see, any more comments coming in? Philip Anderson, yes, Oscar, 2 yeses, I like that. Really happy with the signing of Brendan. Really happy with the signing of Brendan Aronson. Absolutely, 100%. Let's see, any more comments coming in? Let's have a look. So, Alison and Marcy Adams, great to see you again. Like the look of this guy. I know you can't judge by YouTube. Looks like what we need. And what I've liked, looks like what we need and have liked. And yeah, definitely, I think it's something that we wanted for a long time, this Leeds team. Certainly last season we lacked. But let's wait and see. Of course, as well to mention, we might be doing another impromptu video because there's obviously a mystery striker, as Lee Waters mentions there too. Let's have a look. So, again, a couple of other signings on the way too, but I just want to talk specifically about Brendan Aronson here on this one. But we will definitely cover the other signings too. So let's have a look here. Let's have a look. Any other comments coming in? Any other comments coming in? Our very own Rhiannon as well. I really like the look of Aronson. It makes me excited to see how he fits into the team. 100% really is. I really am happy that we've got a signing that's a little bit more mysterious in terms of how we're going to fit him in. But I like that. I like that kind of sense. I like that he's come in hungry. I really liked his opening interview as well. And yeah, it's good vibes. It's good vibes. The fact that Jesse Marsch likes him too. Yeah, it's absolutely that. In terms of position that we target next, again, I'm not sure. PRM, I'm not sure what that would be. Possibly striker. I do think we probably need another striker as well. Whatever the situation was with Patrick Bamford, but yeah, maybe a midfielder as well. There's probably a few signings that we need to make, and I think we will make, but difficult to say who we're going to sign next. But as Scotty has just flashed up there in the background, smash that like button if you haven't done already, guys. Smash the like for Brendan Aronson. That's exactly it. Smash that like for Brendan Aronson. Peralta is going to call him for the next couple of weeks. But hopefully he's got better footballing ability than Peralta anyway. But this is very true of Andy Toon as well. Good experience for a 21-year-old who has played Champions League. Yeah, absolutely 100%. And made an impression in the Champions League. Played every game, made a good impression. Really good stuff. Let's see. Any other comments there? Philip Anderson says, likes his interview. Harry said he was watching our last match, wanting us to win and be safe. I absolutely love that as well. He said he was pacing up and down, watching that Brentford Leeds game. He wasn't the only one. But absolutely buzzing with that. But yeah, so it's not a massive surprise, this one. But I didn't expect to be doing this video today. As you can probably tell, it's not kind of a typical transfer announcement video I do, but absolutely buzzing with this one. There will be plenty of other videos around that. We're going to try and get an American view on Brendan Aronson. Try and push for a Salzburg view as well. That might be a little bit more difficult. I'm going to do Aronson by the stats. I'm going to do a tactical analysis on Brendan Aronson as well. So that's at least 3 or 4 videos at some point in the preseason that we're going to try and get out as well on our very own Brendan Aronson. So let's see. Any other comments on him? Yeah, interesting one off Jason Redshaw. Yes, Oscar. So that's 3 yeses. Goes past players for fun. Interesting one that mentions 𝐃𝐿 there, but I think he's a different kind of position to Matthijs 𝐃𝐿. I think Matthijs 𝐃𝐿 in the future isn't going to play as a 10 under Jesse Marsch. I think he is going to be very much one of the midfield 2. I think we've got some competition there, but I'd imagine we will add another player in that position too. Mentions of John Swift. I personally think this is an upgrade, a solid upgrade on John Swift, to be totally honest with you. I think in terms of prestige of the competitions he's been playing in terms of age, in terms of the way he presses as well. I think the pressing is a very key part of Brendan Aronson's game too. So I would say this is a big upgrade on John Swift. I probably would imagine we won't go for John Swift now. But I might be wrong. I think John Swift's a good player, by the way. Let's have a look. Yeah, Nigel, absolutely 100%. Even in Oscar, hopefully the first sign of a few required this window. Absolutely. And buzzing to get this one over the line so quickly. Let's see. More comments coming in. Yeah, D. I'm not sure what the fee is for him. I've heard less than that actually. What is the fee for him? Scotty keeps flashing him up there. He's going to do his Jesse. He's going to. I bet you now in a second, Scotty's going to flash up Jesse Marsh in a second. He's going to do that Marsh superhero one, but I hope he does. I hope he does. To be fair, but D, what is the fee for him? 28 mil seems a little high, but different reports on it. I've heard something close to 25, but I guess we'll wait and see. I guess in this kind of like modern era, you don't really hear what the actual exact signing was for, what the kind of fee paid was. But again, add-ons, all different kind of things. There's a lot of complications on it, but we'll see. We'll see what the fee is. But for me, it says that the price we paid doesn't matter as long as he improves the team. For me, that's all we can kind of ask for. Yeah, definitely agree with this, Stephen. A couple of people have alluded to this now. It's great we got our first signing so quick and early, and a quality player on our hands. Off the subject a bit, what do you think of Target from Villa? Yeah, I think he's been on loan at Newcastle. It's a decent shout, that mate. It's a decent shout in terms of the left back situation. I would imagine we'll go for a left back as backup to Firpo or competition for Firpo. It'd be interesting. But Target, I think, is a decent player. He's definitely a decent player. Would he be a first choice left back for us? I'm not sure. I've probably not seen enough of him this season, but yeah, he's solid. He's a solid player. But I do think under Jesse Marsh, the fullbacks have got to be good going forward, really good going forward. Is Target that good going forward? I'm not sure. So it won't be something to be against, but I think we'll probably go up a level on that personally in terms of the left back situation. And yes, there he is. There is the Jesse Marsh. In terms of the American invasion, I knew he was going to get that one up. But yeah, Scotty is in the background there anyway. Aaron Hickey, I've seen mentioned a few times as well. I don't know enough about Aaron Hickey, but I believe he's good going forward. So let's wait and see on that one. A few mentions about Jimmy Milner, Minamino. Again, I expect we're probably going to be doing a few of these this season in terms of late announcements on signings and that lot. So let's have a look. Late announcements from All East TV, by the way, on signings. So let's have a look. So Ice Lord says he's young and fresh. He'll be wanting to prove himself too. 21 on a 5-year deal is very, very good. 100%. So we're going to hopefully get Brendan Aaronson's near his peak years as well at Leeds United at the very least too, which is very, very encouraging. Fee is 23.5 million, says Scott Lightning. D Turley says 23.5 seems reasonable. 100%. Let's have a look. And yeah, so a few little comments coming in here, and it's all good. It's positive. Let's see. Finally, we got our new quarterback, says John Shaw's. Oh, I love that. Let's have a look. Big contrast to the end of last season. From the end of last season, Dan James and Firpo were the best Bielsa could come up with last season. Well, whether it was Bielsa, I'm not sure. But what I will say about Aaronson is he's a different type of signing to James and Firpo in the sense that he's someone that's on the rise kind of thing. I think with James and Firpo, I still think will come good for Leeds United. I still think they'll come good in this second season. We've seen it a lot in the last couple of years. Players come good in the second season. But I think the thing with James and Firpo was they were hardly playing before they came to Leeds. So it was a bit of a shock, I'd imagine, to them, going from like being on the bench most weeks to being in the starting 11 every week. So with Aaronson, he's someone on the rise. He's someone in terms of morale, belief in himself, I think is absolutely very, very high. I think it's good. I think it's good to sign players like Aaronson rather than going for players that aren't playing a lot for like big clubs kind of thing. You know, that's my personal view on that. Again, there's probably no kind of evidence to that, but it just makes me feel a bit better that we're making that type of signing. So let's see. Any other comments coming in? American Revolution in full effect. Definitely. It wouldn't surprise me if this is the first of many players we signed from the US men's national team. There we go. Jesse Marsh again. That's not me doing that, by the way. That is Scott doing that for the American Revolution. But yeah, let's see. Have we got any other comments coming in? We might have to do an Avengers. We might have to do an Avengers of Marsh, Aaronson, and like all these different players that hopefully we're going to get through the door. But I like the fact that we're doing targeted types of signing. And the thing I'd say as well is what encourages me too is that everyone knows in terms of, if you watched all Leeds TV, you'd know anyway, that Brendan Aronson was someone we clearly targeted in January. Clearly, we'd spoken to Salzburg in January. And for one reason or another, I think main one being the Champions League by the looks of things, the fact that Salzburg was still in the Champions League, Aronson probably wanted to play in it. The fact that obviously, in terms of Jesse Marsch, Bielsa, were kind of like in between the two at that kind of point. We didn't get Aronson in there. But the fact that he's made such an impression, we've gone straight back in for him, despite the disappointment of not getting him in January, for a decent fee as well. And I don't feel like we've overpaid. I think it's a very good value for a number 10 that's played in a decent league, in the Champions League, and it's at 21. I think it's a good value. So yeah, I am happy with this. But yeah, you can take pens as well, as says Mike. You can take penalties. It's all good, guys. It's all positive. Let's see what else we've got here. So yeah, I agree with this off James 98. We need to make signings that improve the first team, that's improve the team first and foremost. Any commercial benefits should be secondary, but I do feel like this is one that improves the first team, no doubt about it. And if he improves us commercially as well, commercial benefits, that's a bonus as well, absolutely. Finally, a Saïs replacement. I think that's Scott has probably written that, but yeah, I think he's a lot more tenacious than Saïs. I think he's got a much better eye for goal than Saïs, and I think he's a much better player than Saïs. But as replacements go, it's good. But yeah, let's get some more comments in, guys. Let's get some more comments. Minamino has been mentioned quite a bit. Obviously, Minamino has played alongside Aronson, just ahead of Aronson, and sometimes alongside Aronson, actually, in terms of they both played as dual 10s. At Salzburg under Jesse Marsch, and obviously Jesse Marsch has worked under both. Both players have worked under Jesse Marsch. I said that the wrong way around. So it'll be interesting if Minamino does come as well. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I don't personally see him as this, James. I don't see him as a Klich replacement. I think he's going to play high with the pitch and Klich. I think if anything, he's probably more of a Rodrigo replacement in terms of the way the system's working right at this moment in time. I think it's probably more Rodrigo replacement than like the first choice 10 in the team. Let's have a look. Ironically, Aronson will link up well with Dan James, that type of player. Yes, they're both tenacious in that lot. I think Aronson wants a lot more touches of the ball than Dan James. I think Dan James can play it from like one tempo. Aronson's that kind of like the balance to Dan James kind of thing. He can release Dan James on the wing kind of thing. He can pick out the attacking players in really dangerous areas, which is something we've not had for the last 2 years, really, in all honesty, despite how well we've done in the Premier League. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Have we got any other comments in here? Yeah, guys, this was just going to be a pretty brief one, really. I've done 25 minutes. Just wanted it to be a pretty brief analysis on Brendan Aronson, the signing of Brendan Aronson. I'm probably going to leave it there, guys, because this is a bit of a impromptu video. Big thanks for coming on, guys. Again, a bit shorter than the usual lives, but again, it's just a reaction video, this, but there's going to be plenty of Brendan Aronson related content coming out in the next couple of days. As I said, we're going to try and get an American perspective on Aronson. I'm pretty confident we can get that. A Salzburg, if we can, perspective on Brendan Aronson. A statistical look at Brendan Aronson, the type of player he is by the numbers, and a tactical analysis on Brendan Aronson and how he'll fit in this Leeds United team. And yeah, guys, we'll leave it there anyway. Brendan Aronson has signed for Leeds United, and this has been your impromptu reaction to the news. Big thanks, guys, for joining us. Smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't done already. See you later.